Good afternoon. Today's first topic is Reserve Bank of India has increased the collateral-free loan limit. Now, first of all, what does collateral mean? To take any sort of loan, there we need to provide some sort of security. We call it as collateral. Now, agricultural finance is a major important thing to make our farmers achieve the goal of doubling farmers' income. Now, agricultural finance means and providing them loans. See, financial inclusion among farmers is very much essential. Financial inclusion means provision of financial services to the people to whom they were not available until now. Okay, for example, take the case of many people in the country, PM Jan Dhan Yojana. Before this, many people do not have bank accounts. After this, zero balance accounts, PM Jan Dhan Yojana accounts, many people got bank accounts for the first time. Similarly, our financial inclusion, lack of financial inclusion is a bigger problem in the farmers because farming operates in a completely unorganized manner, right? So we realized that farmers are not able to get access to formal loans. Now, if they are not having access to formal loans, what will happen? They have to take loans from informal loans. Informal loans will be local. Informal loans will be having very high interest rates. Compounded very much. So informal loans are very much, and there is no guarantee in the Indian farmers that since informal loans are very much costly and already our Indian farmers are facing many problems of erratic monsoon, low remunerative prices and all. Now, in addition to this, additional interest rate could not be paid by the Indian farmers. So government of India thought that it is not the right thing. So we have to provide them loans. Based on some parameters. Now, for this, government of India bought financial inclusion schemes to farmers. One of the major financial inclusion scheme for agricultural insurance is PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Similarly, for agricultural credit here means loans. So, for agricultural credit, the major scheme launched by government of India is Kisan Credit Card. Other than this, government of India also providing agricultural credit to the farmers in different mechanisms. You might have heard about our PSL, priority sector lending. What is this priority sector lending? For example, current rules about priority sector lending are, if bank gives 100 rupees as loans, in it 40 rupees must be given to priority sectors. Now, government will be deciding time to time what all will be coming under the priority sectors. Now, farming is also a priority sector from the very beginning. Okay. Now, there is one more condition in this is that in this 40%, 18% must be went to farming alone. And in this 18%, 8% should be gone to small and marginal farmers only. Okay. Small and marginal farmers means micro. Less than 1 acre, small and marginal farmers. Marginal farmers means 1 to 2, 0 to 1. Marginal farmers 0 to 1. Small 1 to 2. Okay. Medium 2 to 5. Okay. Now the thing here is that in India, 86% of the farmers are small and marginal. 86% of the farmers are small and marginal. So obviously they cannot keep their land as collateral. They are having very meager amount of land and they couldn't get loan outside also. So government thought to increase agricultural credit to the farmers. In it had launched many schemes. One is priority sector lending. You understood about priority sector lending? Overall, if a bank gives 100 rupees, 40 rupees must be gone to priority sectors, and in this priority sector, 18% to farming alone and 8% of 18% is to small and marginal farmers. Similarly, RBI introduced additional measures to loans for agricultural aid to farmers like interest subvention. Means, for example, if as a person normally if I am getting loan at around 9%, they will be getting interest subvention. Means they will be getting reduced interest rate of around maybe 2 to 3% as per the norms of RBI. Okay. Additionally, one more major scheme which RBI has launched for the farmers is Kisan Credit Card. Okay. Now the present rules is if under interest subvention, farmers can take loan of up to 3 lakhs. And in this 3 lakhs, up to now, farmers can take 1.6 lakhs of collateral free loan. Means up to 1.6 lakhs, they need not keep any sureties, any collateral. Now, this 1.6 lakhs is further increased to 2 lakhs. That's in the backstory. Now, farmers can take loan from banks without keeping any collateral up to 2 lakhs. If they want to take additional more than 2 lakhs, for the remaining amount only, they need to keep the collateral. Okay. Now, all this will be happening, this 2 lakhs will be happening with the usage of Kisan credit card. It would also be like a ATM card. You can take money any number of times up to your advised limit. Now, this Kisan credit card has been first started in 1988. Okay. Initially, it is only for the agricultural sector. Now, in later times, it was extended to agricultural and non-agricultural, allied sectors also. Agricultural and allied sectors. In 2018-19, Government of India thought to extend it further and introduced animal husbandry and fisheries. Okay. Now all the allied sectors also comes under Kisan credit card. Now, for what all purposes farmers can utilize this loan? Okay. See, basically this is to help farmers in working capital. Basically working capital loans. Can they buy an house utilizing this? Yes or no? No, not like that. As per the rules, they should not. Basically, they can buy fertilizers, buy pesticides, or else improve their land equipment. Whatever they will be doing, they must utilize for farm productivity increase. Working capital loans and all. This is previous year question. There in the question they had also mentioned about house. Whether farmers can use that money for any sort of house purposes. Obviously they cannot. Okay. And for long-term capital. Basically this is for short-term working capital loan. Okay. This is a short-term working capital loans. Right. Yeah, sort of thing. In 2018-19, it got extended to fisheries and animal husbandry farmers. Now, if a question comes, Kisan credit card is a repeated theme, and even in your mains also you can quote this, right? Because agricultural finance and all. Implementing agencies here are commercial banks, regional rural banks, small finance banks and cooperatives. Before there used to be limit of collateral free loan limit of up to only 1 lakh. Later on, it got extended to 1.6 lakhs in 2020. Further, it got again extended to 2 lakhs now. Okay. These are the different purposes. Farmers can utilize that money. Directly, it has been mentioned in the objectives of KCC. Short-term credit requirements for cultivation of crops, post-harvest expenses, produce marketing loan, consumption requirement of farmer households, working capital for maintenance of farm assets and activities allied to agriculture, investment credit requirement for agricultural and allied activities. The same options have been reflected in the question paper. They just copy pasted it. Okay. Why this finance is essential? Why agricultural finance is essential in the country? No, I am asking why other than normal people, agriculture and farmers require more focus. Why we are giving additional focus to farmers in the priority sectors? Okay, around 45% of the population are dependent on agriculture. It will be helping in our food security. See, now agricultural finance is very much essential because our food security is dependent on it. Many of our employment is dependent on it. This will help farmers to get rid of burden from the money lenders who will be acting like saitans generally, right? So, to solve all these problems, agricultural finance is very much essential. And additional thing, farmers are getting finance, they are able to grow crops. But in the event of any damage of the crops, what is security for them? PM Fasal Bima Yojana. So, agricultural insurance is also essential. Now, one of the major problem is agricultural insurance is not penetrated well in the country. Even normal insurance penetration is also very much low. How much percentage do not have insurance in the country? 76% do not even have insurance, be it life insurance or health insurance. Similarly, this penetration, agricultural insurance penetration is also very much less. So, what government had done, it had bought PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Under this, for Kharif crops, farmers should pay premium of 1.5%. For Rabi crops, farmers should pay premium of 2%. For horticultural crops, farmers should pay the premium of 5%. Remaining percentage will be shared between center and the state government. Means, for example, if crop is under damage because of any reason, due to excessive rainfall, due to drought, due to post-harvest issues, because of all these things, if crop got failed, then the insurance companies will be paying them the money. Okay, this is called as agricultural insurance mechanism. Now the thing here is that earlier what would happen is 2 years back there is a scheme called PM Kisan. What is this? What is this PM Kisan? Direct benefit transfer to the farmers, direct money support scheme, 6,000, whether it is dependent on production or independent of production. Independent of production, so it is suitable under WTO, sambar box, right? Now under PM Kisan 6,000 will be credited to the farmers in installments of 2,000 every 4 months. Now earlier there used to be a thing that automatically farmers premium would be cut down from the PM Kisan accounts, right? Got it? Now this has been separated, means there is no requirement of the farmers to pay this. It is the interest of the farmers. Whether it is mandatory or not, it is not mandatory. Okay, understood? Next, wetlands. Before this, wetlands, mangroves, protected area networks like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries. Why all these are very much essential? Basically for wildlife protection and sustainable development in the country, right? Now all these protected area networks will be helping us in protecting our biodiversity. This biodiversity protection is also very much essential for humans. Why? See, in food chains each and every organism is very much essential. If there are no honeybees, what will happen? No pollination. If no pollination, no food production. So obviously food insecurity problem. At last, because of no honeybees, there won't be humans. So no honeybees, no humans, right? Similarly, if there are no tigers, what will happen? Tigers or lions? Food chain will be completely disrupted. The quantity of deers and all will be increasing. Now these deers will be coming to human places, right? Lead to man animal conflict and all. అదే ఆకుని తింటది మేక, అదే సేమ్ అదే సాంగ్. Okay, now the thing is that this we need to protect the food chain. Right? Now this safeguarding of this food chain is very much essential in the country, not only for the country, for across the world, because humans know borders. Wildlife, biodiversity do not know borders, right? So in this respect we thought of protecting our wildlife. For protecting our wildlife and our biodiversity, we had come up with different schemes, different programs, right? For protection of animals in situ, we came up with wildlife sanctuaries and national park. This is called as in situ protection. What is difference between in situ and ex situ? See, if VISHNU IAS is the habitat of tigers, generally if all of you are considered as tigers, then protection of VISHNU IAS tigers will be happening here only. Now if you are considered as some rare species, you will be giving ranks to VISHNU IAS, then SAR wants to protect you furthermore, then he will take you all to some other place and protect you, not in okay, not in your habitat, in some other place other than your habitat. That is called as ex situ protection. Means the place in which we are generally residing, it is called as in situ. The place other than our residence area is called as ex situ. Now national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, all these will be coming under in situ. Now tell me some ex situ for animals. Zoo parks, botanical gardens for plants, right? Now in the same way, for betterment of or safeguarding of birds, some additional species, we need to protect the ecosystem also. not only protecting the animals is essential, we need to protect the ecosystem also. So for that, we are protecting mangroves, we are protecting wetlands. To protect the Bengal tiger, it is not essential to think about it. It is, along with it, we need to protect the mangrove Sundarbans also, right? Similarly, to protect different bird species, we need to protect wetlands. For different animal species, we need to protect wetlands. Now, wetlands protection is based on a convention called Ramsar Convention. India is also a signatory to this. This was signed in 1971. The name Ramsar comes from the city Ramsar, Iran. Ramsar, it is a city in Iran. Agreement has been signed in that place. That's why we call it as Ramsar Convention. Under this, we will be identifying wetlands of international importance, and we will be protecting them. Okay. We will be notifying the wetlands to the Ramsar Convention. They will be accepting it if all the conditions are met. Okay. Now, currently, how many wetlands are recognized? Next figure. Triple digit. 85. Recently, it became 85. Before we used to have 80. Now, it became 85. Highest number of wetlands are in how much? Tamil Nadu. Highest number of wetlands are in Tamil Nadu, 18 wetlands. Okay, 18 wetlands are in Tamil Nadu. Now, this is an international convention. To implement the provisions in that convention, obviously we have to make one law, right? We are a sovereign country. To implement any sort of international agreements, we can amend any sort of legislations or make new legislations as per our requirement. For that, we had bought Wetlands Act. And we had again amended it in 2017. Okay, so the recent amendment to wetlands is Wetlands Amendment Act 2017. Okay, now in this we had inserted a phrase called wise use. In prelims, if you get a word wise use, it is related to wetlands. Now, what is this wise use? Ramsar Convention talks about wise use of wetlands. We need to utilize the wetlands in a proper manner. We need to safeguard it. We need to perform the development in the wetlands in a sustainable manner. This is called as wise use. This wise use principle is being utilized in the country. Okay. Now, the thing is that we had done Wetlands Amendment Act in 2017. But the problem is that as per original Wetland Convention, even the rice fields, many lakes, many ponds will be coming under the definition of wetlands. But in 2017, we had amended the definition of wetland. By this, the rice fields, many types of lakes and ponds will not be coming under the wetlands. Why they had done this? Yes. Because if these restrictions are there, government cannot proceed with the development process. So, they must stop this. So that's why they had changed the definition of the wetland for further encroachment. Right. Now, why wetlands are very much essential? Wetlands are essential. Rupesh, wetlands are essential. Okay. While we are protecting the wetland, obviously the places, the birds which will be coming over there will also be protected. For example, after RR's tenure, Revanth Reddy, Hydra vachin tarvata, recently one lake in Hyderabad got rejuvenated because no one is there to encroach it. Within 2 months, again the birds which used to come 20 years back are again coming. So, with the protection of wetlands, obviously there will be protection of species. This is the benefit. Biodiversity conservation is happening. Further, repeatedly we were talking about the problem of urban flooding, right? We are talking about the problem of urban flooding. Why urban flooding is happening? Major reason is concretization of roads, concretization of land. See, if this is the road, if concretization is not there, what would it have happened? After rains, water would get penetrated into the underground. Now, this is Now this is concrete. So water cannot penetrate underground because there are no pores. Now what happens? Rather than going in a vertical manner, water will be going in a horizontal manner. Now obviously there is nothing to go downside. It will be flowing on the roads only. Now obviously it will lead to urban flooding. Now even in this case also, if there is some wetland here, what it happens? Obviously this water will be coming and going this side, going inside. Even then our cities will be protected. Now obviously because of development we had completely concretized the things. We do not have proper drainage systems because there is no proper urban planning. Further, the last option, that is wetland conservation, we are not performing that also. Why? Even in the name of development we are encroaching this wetlands also. In the name of development we are encroaching this wetlands also. Now where this water will be going then? So obviously it will be getting stagnated on the roads or going into the houses, overflowing on the roads. This will lead to flooding and problems to the livelihoods. That's why wetland conservation is very much essential. So it acts as a natural absorber, natural sink of floods. So for urban flooding protection, wetlands is very much essential. Next, if rainforests are called as lungs of the earth, our wetlands are called as kidneys of the earth. What does kidney do? Purify. Kada? Similarly, wetlands also purify our water, purify our air. Okay. So wetlands are also considered as kidneys of the earth. This is also previous year question. Some more? Yeah, obviously water table will be developed. Groundwater table will be developed. Now because of this water table development, what it will lead to? The problems because of over utilization of water. We had seen many sort of water scarcity issues and all. Now all these problems could also be solved. So water conservation and water problems could also be solved. See, just protection of wetlands has these many effects. But now what are the problems being faced by wetlands? First and foremost, encroachment of the wetlands. There is no limit on the encroachment, right? Encroachment obviously leads to death of that wetland. Further, next thing, have you learned wetlands earlier? Next, why wetlands are facing problems? Encroachment is a basic thing. Next thing, we are releasing all the pollution, water pollution, industrial pollution, chemical pollution completely into the lakes. Now what happens? Because of this biological oxygen demand in the water will be increasing a lot. BOD will be increasing in a lot because of rise of microorganisms. Completely oxygen deficit will be happening. It will lead to a scenario where organisms cannot live. Further, all the pollution will be coming. No organisms can live. Water can also cannot sustain here because of the pollution and all. Further, it leads to a scenario called eutrophication, an artificial killing of lakes, and later on it just turns into normal land. For development purposes, knowingly and wantedly some people will be doing this. Okay, what is eutrophication? While we will be releasing chemicals and pollutants into the water, it further leads to the killing of rivers, called as eutrophication, and it later on water body gets turned to land body. Okay. Next, some more problems of wetlands. Yeah, all this because of development things. Obviously, we need to encroach upon themselves and all. Okay. Now the thing here is that as per our Wetland Protection Act, we promised protection of how many wetlands? 92. No, not under Ramsar Convention. Under our Wetlands Act, we promised protection of 92 wetlands. But as per Wetland Convention, we promised around 85. What will happen to remaining all the things? So, Supreme Court in its judgment, see, remember very important judgment, you can quote in environment, you can quote in judicial activism, and also you can quote in polity. M.K. Balakrishnan versus Union of India case. In this, Supreme Court said that you need to protect all the 30,000 additional wetlands additional to the past 2 lakh wetlands which we had asked to protect you. In a judgment called M.K. Balakrishnan, Supreme Court told to protect all the 2 lakh wetlands. Additionally, in the recent judgment 5 days back, Supreme Court told to protect 30,000 more additional wetlands. Okay, it is M.K. Balakrishnan case. If in recent times, in the last 2 to 3 years, questions have been in polity, questions are being asked to quote case laws. Case laws means Supreme Court judgments. You need to remember election case laws like Subramania Swamy case, VVPAT case, Nota case, PIL Foundation case and all. Right, Anup Baranwal case and all. Similarly, in environmental matters, you are having major cases like this M.K. Balakrishnan, M.C. Mehta case. Note down this. M.C. Mehta case is related to environmental protection. You are having M.C. Mehta 1, 2, 3 and 4. M.C. Mehta is an environmental activist basically. He files pills. Now, yes, PIL. You know about PIL now? Yeah. Now, this, మీరు సూపర్ ఏంటంటే క్లాస్లో అయితే చాలా ఇంక అన్నీ వచ్చేసినట్టే అంతే కదా, పాలిటీ అయింది కాబట్టి చెప్పేస్తున్నారు. ఆబ్వియస్లీ అన్నీ అయితే అందరికీ ర్యాంక్ వచ్చేస్తారు. నిజంగా చెప్తున్నా, ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ రియల్లీ రీడింగ్, ఆబ్వియస్లీ see the things which you have learned, you are making sense. The things which you don't know, you are able to learn. అదే కదా కావాల్సిందే. ఏం చెప్పానా? పొద్దున్న ఏం చెప్పానా? ఎక్విజిషన్ ఆఫ్ నాలెడ్జ్, ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ ఆఫ్ నాలెడ్జ్, అప్లికేషన్ ఆఫ్ నాలెడ్జ్. ఎక్విజిషన్ ఆఫ్ నాలెడ్జ్ అయింది, ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేసుకునే ఎవరి పని కదా. రియల్లీ ఇఫ్ యూ నో దట్ యు ఆర్ unable to remember, obviously you will find a solution. Solution is to revise more, read more. Even if you can't remember, you will think of some alternatives, finding mnemonics and all. Gandhiji says, if you want to really achieve something, all the forces of the nature will be helping us. Okay, Gandhiji dannam pettukoni chadukondi. Now, M.K. Balakrishnan case and M.C. Mehta case related to environmental protection. Basically, environmental protection. This is a recent case. That's why, see, the thing is that if you are quoting any sort of recent examples, that's why even in my classes also I am quoting recent examples. If you are quoting recent examples, it will add additional value. Everyone will be writing about the Nota cases and all. Okay. MC Mehta case lo endante, in this MC Mehta cases only, polluter pays principle, liability doctrine of industries. Liability doctrine ante, for example, around 2 years back during COVID anukunda, when Jagan garu is ruling, now LG Polymers case had happened. Around 12 people died in LG Polymers case because of release of styrene. Right, now we do not know until then it is the mistake of the persons who had died or else the company, but the company had to pay. This doctrine is called liability doctrine. This was given in MC Mehta case. Similarly, there is a case called polluter pays. In this MC Mehta only, additional principle came which is called as polluter pays principle. Polluter pays means whoever is polluting, they will be paying. For example, we are imposing coal cess on thermal power plants. If you know, coal cess or clean energy cess, basically, whoever are utilizing coal, since they will be leading to pollution, they must pay. It is called as coal cess. This erupted from the principle of polluter pay. Okay? Greenwashing ante? Greenwashing ring sambandham ledhu. Greenwashing means, for example, this is MI phone. MI phone manufacturer might say this is an environmental friendly product. He might show it has an environmental friendly production pattern. Now, if you go and check into the deeper terms, it might not be an environmental friendly thing. This is called as greenwashing. A product manufacturing process, it is not at all an environmental friendly, but company will be showing to the public as environmental friendly. We call it as greenwashing. So majorly wetlands are essential because they act as natural water filters. That's why we are calling them as kidneys for flood protection. NDMA guidelines says that we can reduce the impact of floods if you will be protecting wetlands. habitat for wildlife, carbon sequestration. What is this carbon sequestration? మీకు ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ క్లాస్ అయిందా ఇంకా బాగా అర్థమైంది. వాట్ ఈస్ కార్బన్ sequestration means storing. Now carbon sequestration means carbon will be stored in some places which is not easily released back. Okay, now obviously when the wetlands are growing in a proper manner, they are in good condition, many plants will be growing there. Obviously they will be storing carbon, right? So it acts as natural carbon sequestration mechanism, and it is livelihood. Process carbon sequestration, ఆ ప్లేస్ని కార్బన్ సింక్ అని అంటాం. ద ప్లేస్ విచ్ స్టోర్స్ కార్బన్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as కార్బన్ సింక్. Montrex record is also a part of Ramsar Convention, but this record says that any wetland added in this Montrex record, which means that wetland had faced some problem. It is under damage. And its protection is very much essential. So if that wetland is added in that Montrex record, government must protect that for sure and must regain the original status. In past, our Chilika Lake is part of this, and obviously it has removed later on because they had protected it better. Okay, Chilika Lake is in Odisha. So these are various measures and initiatives taken for the conservation of wetlands. India signed Ramsar Convention. India bought with Ramsar Wetland Act and Wetland Rules. Wetland Action Plan by this Ministry of Environment. Amrit Dharohar Capacity Building Scheme. This has been launched recently. Amrit Dharohar. This is basically for rejuvenation of water in the urban areas. For rejuvenation of water, obviously we must protect wetlands, right? Advaina Amrit Dharohar scheme. Basically this is for provision of water in the urban areas. Now how water can be, we need to rejuvenate the water, regain the water. How we can do that? Obviously if you are protecting wetlands, then only groundwater infiltration and all will be happening. So sort of protecting our wetlands. Okay, in Telangana there used to be Mission Bhagiratha and Mission Kakatiya. Pipe water ఇవ్వడాన్ని ఏమంటారు? భగీరథ. మిషన్ కాకతీయ వెట్లాండ్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ బేసికలీ. అర్థమైనా? See, wetlands as a thing is very much important for both prelims and mains. In past they had asked in mains directly about the wetlands, what are wetlands and what does it mean with wise use and all. Recently they had asked again about wetland in 2023. In 28, obviously in our normal classes, in society classes, I am showing how PYQs will be repeating. In 20, if I am not wrong, in 2020 they had asked about wetlands. Again in 2023 they had again asked about wetlands. So wetlands as a topic is very much important. And for prelims, now obviously it will be somewhat factual thing. You need to know about Ramsar Convention procedures and all. And if any new wetlands which have been added in the last 1 year, and take a guess, last 2 years, because in the last 2 years around 25 wetlands have been added, if I am not wrong, some 15 to 20. So try to mark it on outline map of India, because questions are being asked. The year in the last year they had added some wetlands in Tamil Nadu and all. They had given in maps the following. They had given just the wetland and the state. Similar is the case they can do now. Okay, just mark it. Not only about this, in geography, places in news plays an very important role. Be it world places, Indian places, you have to learn about rivers, lakes, wetlands in news, any sort of protected area networks which are in news, like wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, tiger reserves, elephant conservation reserves, which are in news. Basically only news. Obviously we can't remember all the thousands of things. Okay, and in international perspective, you need to learn about 10 to 15 major seas and straits. Along with them, you need to learn about deserts, and more than all these things, you need to know about the places in news. Like I used to tell in the class about Golan Heights, or else, for example, yesterday we discussed about a place in Jammu and Kashmir, Kulgam. Similarly, take the case of Golan Heights, West Bank, All these things which are in news, you just keep 10 outline maps of India and 10 outline maps of world. Allot one map for wetlands, one for tiger reserves, one for international places in news. Like if in any country coup had happened, recently in Syria coup had happened. In last year prelims, not this year prelims, in last year prelims, there were 4 questions completely about this international instability. In which country coup had happened, in which country political instability is there, in which country new means like this they had asked. Okay, just for, and remember, international relations questions will be very much easy. Though all of them are low hanging fruits. Okay, maintain these maps, and by the end of your prelims, nearby prelims, you will be having some good amount of things, and questions will be getting from them only. Okay, don't miss that. Most favored nation. Most favored nation means meaning enti normal ga as per name it shows that extra benefit, but normal ga enti ante most favored nation, it is also allowed under WTO mechanism. Most favored nation means same procedure compared to other nations. There shouldn't be any sort of discrimination. There shouldn't be any sort of discrimination. Now you might have seen about this news. All diplomats, Foreign Secretary of India also kept press meet. There is high sort of diplomatic problem with respect to Switzerland had erupted first time. Okay. Now what happened? There will be an agreement called double taxation avoidance agreement. Telsa deni gurindi entadi? Not only this. See, for example, I am a player, means I am an industry player in India and also in Switzerland. Due to some reasons, it arose in scenario that I am paying the tax for the same production in both the countries. Obviously, it is not principles of natural justice. Any process in the world must happen as per the principles of natural justice. So, we can make agreements between 2 countries such that one country will be stopping it. That is called as double taxation avoidance agreement. Why it is essential? Yeah, obviously, see, now if 2 countries are there, take the case with Sweden and Switzerland and India, and take another country, say New Zealand and India. With New Zealand, we are not having any sort of double taxation avoidance agreement. Now, if a player is investing in both the countries and they have to pay tax in both the countries, then why would they come and invest in India? Because they are paying double taxes. Now, if they need not pay tax in one country, obviously they will be interested to come to India. Avuna kada? Because they should pay only one tax. That's why these agreements will be supporting FDIs. Okay, these agreements will be supporting FDIs. Obviously, all these are commercial players, corporate. They all rely on cutthroat competition and excessive profit maximization. So they will be coming to the countries which will be supporting this. So in that process, to better our FDI landscape and all, we had come up with double taxation avoidance agreements with many countries. We had agreements with many countries. In that, Switzerland is one country. And in this double taxation avoidance agreement, there is a clause called most favored nation. Most favored nation. As I mentioned earlier, in this most favored nation clause, if I am signing this most favored nation clause, if, for example, I had signed agreement, most favored nation clause with Switzerland, and as per this, I had put a restriction that I will be imposing tax of 10%. Now, in future, if I am making any agreement, double taxation avoidance agreement and MFN clause with any other country, and if I am charging tax less than this 10%, less than the tax on them, this will automatically be applied to them also. Indian discrimination ఉండకూడదు కదా. ఓకే, అందుకనే మోస్ట్ ఫేవర్డ్ నేషన్ అన్నాం. మోస్ట్ ఫేవర్డ్ నేషన్ మీన్స్ దేర్ షుడెంట్ బి ఎనీ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్. అర్థమైందా? నౌ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ టేక్ కంట్రీ ఏ, కంట్రీ బి. ఇండియా హ్యాడ్ agreement with this country A that we will be imposing 10%. We had signed this. In future, India made an agreement with country B, and at that time they had kept the tariff just 5%. Then automatically this 5% will be applicable to them also. Okay. Now, ikkada problem em ochindi ante, we had signed agreement with Switzerland. Later on, we had signed agreement with further countries also. With Switzerland, we kept 10% tariff. With other countries, we kept 5% tariffs. We are not providing this 5% to Switzerland. Okay, that means we are not following this most favored nation clause. Most favored nation clause. This is in judicial process since last 2 years. Supreme Court in its judgment said that there is no need for India to provide this 5% to Switzerland. It quoted that generally this MFN status is for any country member of OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD countries. Now, for this OECD countries, Supreme Court says we had signed, as per the clause, if we had signed agreement with other country after 2010, that won't be applicable to you, and a clause undanta, we are utilizing it. But Switzerland is not accepting it. So what Switzerland had done, Switzerland had completely removed this double taxation avoidance agreement. It came out of this agreement from India. అర్థమైందా? ఇప్పుడు అదే జరుగుతుంది, డబుల్ టాక్సేషన్ జరుగుతుంది. Now both country relations between India and Switzerland will get shattered basically, right? Reason for Switzerland's MFN withdrawal: after the 2010 protocol, India signed a DTA with 2 OECD members, Lithuania at 5% rate and Colombia at 5% rate. But for Switzerland, we are giving at 10% rate. అందుకని వాళ్ళు హర్ట్ అయ్యారు. ఇద్దరు ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఉన్నారు, మూడో ఫ్రెండ్కి ఎక్కువ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఇస్తే అట్లానే ఉంటుంది కదా అప్పుడు. సో వాళ్ళు కోర్టుకి వెళ్ళారు. వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళమంటే బేసికల్లీ కంపెనీస్ వెళ్తాయి. కంపెనీస్ కూడా తెలుసు కదా అగ్రిమెంట్ గురించి. కంపెనీస్ ఏమంటారు, వీ షుడ్ గెట్ ఓన్లీ 5% టాక్సేషన్. సుప్రీంకోర్టుకి వెళ్ళారు. సుప్రీంకోర్టు ఏం చెప్తుంది, దిస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ అప్లికబుల్ టు యూ, we had signed before 2010, so only 10% will be applicable to you అని చెప్తుంది. ఆబ్వియస్గా సుప్రీంకోర్టు మనకి సపోర్ట్గానే ఇస్తుంది కదా, లేదని మళ్ళీ కొత్త చీఫ్ జస్టిస్ వస్తారు అప్పుడు. Now this Switzerland is also very much important for us because recently India had signed TEPA agreement. I discussed this also. TEPA agreement, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, with an organization called EFTA. EFTA means European Free Trade Association. We will be calling 4 countries as European Free Trade Association. This is possible question this year. European Free Trade Association. This includes Iceland, Switzerland, Norway and Liechtenstein. Now, we had signed an agreement, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with these 4 countries. Now, what happens? Already our relations with Switzerland got bad, became bad. So, this will bring an effect on this agreement also. Okay, what is the name of agreement? So if a question comes on this, directly they will be asking who are the members involved in this TEPA, basically India and EFTA countries. Okay, if IR questions are coming in the exam, those will be very much easy. You can look at the last 10 years papers. మన ఫ్రెండ్ వాళ్ళిద్దరు ఇంకా క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, మనకు ఫ్రెండ్షిప్ వాల్యూ తెలియపోయినా వాళ్ళకి ఫ్రెండ్షిప్ వాల్యూ తెలుస్తుంది బేసికలీ. Now, EFTA signed in 2024. This Supreme Court judgment, this action by Switzerland is recent, 1 week back. Yeah, that is the thing. Next, Vice President. Vice President is also in news heavily. Why? Basically, opposition members are saying that we are not having belief on him, so we want to remove him. Okay, now, Vice President అయిపోయింది అందరికి. The idea of Indian Vice President is modeled on the Vice President of USA. The office of Indian Vice President is modeled on the office of USA Vice President. మర్చిపోతారా? సో మర్చిపోకూడదంటే, who is USA's Vice President now? Kamala Harris. She is Indian origin. Who is the next Vice President of USA? JD Vance. He is also of, his wife is also of Indian origin. అంత ఇప్పుడైనా మర్చిపోతారా? మర్చిపోరు కదా ఇప్పుడు. వాళ్ళ పేర్లు అవసరం లేదు. జనరల్ ఇండియా వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్కి మనకి రిలేషన్ ఉంది కదా యుఎస్ఏ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్కి, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి పోయి, దాని వెనక లాజిక్ అవసరం లేదు ఏంటి. నెక్స్ట్, నౌ ఫర్ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలక్షన్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రాసెస్? హూ ఆల్ విల్ బి ఓటింగ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలక్షన్? Members both elected and nominated of both the houses of parliament, because majorly the work of vice president is to deal within the house. That's why states are not involved here generally. Only in the extreme cases where president is not well, then only vice president will be taking the role of president. That's why we are restricting his work to parliament. And also Vice President will become ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, in this election happens through secret ballot or open ballot? Secret ballot. In the process, proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. Okay. Now, removal of the president. This will be happening through effective majority of Rajya Sabha plus simple majority of Lok Sabha plus 14 days notice. Now, effective majority means, remember DDR, total strength of the house minus DDR, death, disqualification and resignation. Okay, means as on that day, how much is the strength of the house, not present and voting. For example, total strength of the house is 543. One person got died, one person got disqualified, one person resigned. Generally, here the majority is 272. Now, since 3 members are not there, it will become 540. Now the majority is 270. Okay, this is the majority that must be that should come for president, vice president. Okay, effective majority in Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha lo entamandi untaru general ga 245. Say 5 members are not there, then 120. So 120 members must vote against him, and after voting that, it will be passed on to Lok Sabha. There it must pass through simple majority. Simple majority means 50% of the members present and voting. Okay, this is called as removal. Grounds of removal not mentioned in the constitution basically. If vice president office is vacant, anyone will be taking that position? For vice president, election must be, constitution says that election must be happened in the near future. Rajya Sabha rule says that elections must be conducted within 60 days. In president, that is not the case. President game mentioned yesterday. Vice president will be becoming president and elections must be conducted within 6 months. Here it is just mentioned as in the near future. In the near future, and Rajya Sabha rule says it as 60 days.